Hello and welcome to episode 1027 of The Sleeper and the Bust. It is Tuesday, March 15th. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined this morning by Justin Mason. Justin, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. We're getting our hot stove here in March, and kind of trickled over the weekend, and then we started to see things really open up late Sunday and into Monday, and I want more. It's been a while. The last move was the Andrew McCutcheon move. I'm like, let's go. But lots to talk about. We still got plenty of moves. You covered a ton on Sunday, and then we're going to finish talking about third base, which isn't that great. But how you doing?
Doing all right, man. It's grind season.
Big time.
I'm doing ADP analysis stuff over on Fangraphs right now. So recording lots of podcasts and just trying to get to Vegas, which is like almost 9 days away. What day are you coming into Vegas?
Thursday.
Okay. All right. I'll be there Wednesday night. Okay, I can't wait. I'm absolutely stoked. So if you're going to be in Vegas, make sure you come by, say hi, either at the drafts or if you just see me walking around. I'll be wearing Justin Mason apparel, so it'll be easy to pick me out.
Yeah, he'll be very findable there. But no, I'm very excited about it. It's going to be great time. Obviously, that was like one of the best things when everything got situated was, oh, here we go. Now we're back on track for Vegas and things like that. So we'll be seeing each other soon. But let's talk some moves. Let's start with Nelson Cruz signing out in Washington. Obviously, his market opened up with the adoption of the NLDH. He will, of course, be that DH for Washington. And all of a sudden, I think their lineup looks pretty solid. Runs, I would say at least 6 deep, and then there's a chance for maybe some breakouts between one of maybe Carter Kieboom, who we'll talk about later, or Victor Robles. But Lane Thomas, Cesar Hernandez, Juan Soto, Nelson Cruz, Josh Bell, and Keibert Ruiz as a top 6 isn't terrible. Is Cruz kind of having the beginning of his decline with that Tampa Bay sample? Or was it Tampa Bay because he did struggle more at home? Did he have a little Tropicana issue a la Willie Adames? Where do you stand on the 41-year-old Nelson Cruz going to Washington?
I think he struggled with the batting eye in Tampa. I think that's what it was. He was fine on the road. He was great before. I mean, he was awesome before he, got traded over there. I don't think there's going to be much of a problem. Washington's a nice park to hit in, so it's a pretty good upgrade from used to, I think, play a little bit more pitcher friendly, but now it seems to play a little bit more hitter friendly. Like you mentioned, the top half of that lineup is really, really good. He's going to get hit by in Soto, so there's going to be plenty of runs to drive in. Little surprised that that's where he ended up, considering all the rumors were, hey, it's between the Padres and the Dodgers, and then all of a sudden the Nationals come out of nowhere. They clearly are trying a reload thing as opposed to a rebuild.
Because you can't rebuild with Soto.
And I think that you had said that was to me. So I'm like, their team's awful, and now it doesn't look so bad. Even added Anibal Sanchez as a non-roster invite in that rotation.
You start to really pile up the ifs on the rotation. It's not easy, but it's not impossible either. It really hinges on Strasburg and Corbin, right? If they're back, that fixes a lot. But those are colossal ifs for both of them. Strasburg for health, Corbin for performance. And so, again, I like it, though, because even if the pitching isn't great, you can't waste Soto's years on a teardown. Like, that is nonsensical. And I just don't think you can go back to square one with him. So,
especially since they don't have him signed to a long-term deal.
Yes. It's not like he has 10 more years there. So, get an offense that is capable. And I think this is an offense that can definitely hang, and then see where it's at with the pitching. Again, it's an uphill battle. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Strasburg's major injury, Corbin's major performance issue. Gray has not broken out yet, and has a big home run issue. I like Anibal Sanchez as well, but he was also 38. Then there's the bullpen, but the offense is coming along. Nelson Cruz moves to a nice park, and I think he'll be fine. Even if he's just the guy combined, his combined 2021 guy, 122 WRC plus, I think that's fine. But I do believe there's a chance for more, another 30 homers and something in like the 135 range with his WRC plus wouldn't even surprise me for Nelson Cruz. So I'm in on him, and I'm open to drafting him too.
Yeah, I mean, I've been drafting him a ton already, so this isn't going to change anything for me. It'll probably change where you have to draft him. You've been getting him around pick 180, 190.
Yeah. Guys always go up after
yeah,
signing.
he could go up easily 50 to 70 spots, maybe even into the top 100.
Wait. He's not going to go up that high.
I think he could.
50 to 100 spots? No chance that he moves up that high on an ADP.
Where was he being drafted last year?
I don't care. The fact that he's 41 and the 120. I mean, he was 43 points lower than his WRC plus from 2019/20 because it was the same as 164. He ain't going up 100 points.
Well,
no shot.
When he signed yesterday, right? It's just probably no draft.
Sunday.
Okay.
We can
I'm going to look up DC drafts since Sunday.
And you're going to be in for a rude awakening that he will not go up 100 picks. Yeah, OCs, because DCs won't be done. There was one draft. He went 146.
That's up 40 to 50 spots already.
50 to 100 is what you said. He's not going up 100 spots. That's one draft. That will be like the best right there. If anybody takes him inside the top 100, please join every league I'm in. I'm sorry. It is a little.
Why? He's always returned that value.
Oh my God. You're so insane if you take Nelson Cruz in the top 100 right now.
I mean, I don't think you
from
need
where
to
he is. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense to push him up to that level.
I bet you there will be drafts
until he won't.
In the main event.
41.
He always returns that value. He's always returned it.
He didn't last year, though. So he doesn't always.
How did he not?
He had a 122 WRC plus. That was not the Nelson Cruz that we're drafting. Like, that's not the Nelson Cruz that's like Ben Nelson Cruz. It's still good. That's why I said, even if he's that guy again, I'm okay with that. But, I don't think that he's necessarily delivering top 100 value. He was the 50th hitter last year. Are there 50 pitchers? Probably about 50 pitchers too. So I'm not. You guys want to take a 41-year-old in the top 100? By all means, please.
I don't know that I would.
42 points off of his WRC plus, not from 2020, by the way. I'm talking from 2019. But he had the 164 in both seasons for Cruz. So whether you judge it off 19 or 20, but don't use 20. I'll use 19 because he was the same guy. He dropped 42 points off of there. And I know it's a good park. I like him. I believe in him. I hate that I have to kind of throw shade here, but like top 100 pick for a 41-year-old, I can't do it.
He was 40 years old. We were taking him in the top 75 last year.
And we finally saw a dent. And that's enough for me to be like, okay, it's there now. Because I don't think you can just write it off to the Trop, by the way, either. He was worse at Tampa Bay when he played with them, but he wasn't particularly great on the road. The BABIP was way down. I don't even want to get.
He had a 147 WRC plus before being traded.
141.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. He had the first half 147.
A 23 point drop off of where he was. It's not the same guy we drafted from 19 and 20 with Nelson Cruz. So there has to be a discount. If people are putting him back in the top 100, I'm out. I'm fully out. I took him in the top 100. Looking like a guy who was like invincible. He showed a little, a little bit.
Still invincible.
No, he's not.
He's still invincible.
Have at it, buddy. You enjoy. You enjoy there.
I'm probably not going to take him in the top 100.
41-year-old. Let me know how stable that is.
I bet you he finishes a top 100 player.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I just don't, because time. We've also seen. He doesn't reach 600 plate appearances anymore, which is fine. Again, there's so many good things about Nelson Cruz. It sucks that I'm even having to talk him down. I'm just saying, like, taking a 41-year-old UT only as a top 100 pick is just begging to get burnt. I don't know. It's a hot potato where I've held it a bunch in past years. I'm letting everybody else hold it at this point. Okay. And maybe he's David Ortiz and he never has a downtime, but putting him back in the top 100.
He's better than David Ortiz.
Here's what I don't get. Here's what's insane though. If people liked him that much, why were you holding them down that much?
I wasn't.
Like that's what I don't understand.
The only reason I haven't gotten him on every single team this year is because I played the ADP game too long in some drafts. But he's one of my most rostered players.
I mean,
I
like
absolutely
Nelson
believe
Cruz.
in a rebound. Getting out of Tampa, I think, will be amazing for him.
You know, like why was he going 180 and now he needed to get signed for the confidence to move 100 spots?
He's on 50 of my NFBC teams.
50%. Yeah, that's just bizarre that he would
No,
have to
he's
move
on
up
50
that much.
of them.
Yeah, you
50 out of 51.
You're in very big trouble if that's the case. Yeah, so I like Nelson Cruz. I don't like him at any price that is double digits.
Okay, so where is the price? Where
he went, like 150 is like the best I can do. Like I'm not, you know, maybe in the 130 range. Let's see who's going around the 130 range real quick. Among hitters, that's going to be Rhys Hoskins, Willie Adames, Josh Bell. Yeah, I can go 130 here. Jared Walsh, Kyle Schwarber. Yes, in this range. So the 130, which is a 50 point jump. And again, I was open to taking him, but you're talking 100 picks from where his ADP has been, which means 80. No shot. That's my primary pushback here, is that you think he can go up 100 picks for his ADP, and that would be crazy to me.
I think there will be drafts he does. Absolutely.
That's not his ADP.
Multiple drafts. Like and like in the main event with like real money attached. Like I think they're gonna be.
That's playing with fire.
Here's a good question, because I saw this and I'll be honest, I hadn't really looked at the rundown. It's not on it. Okay, so Tatis has a broken wrist, right? He's out 3 months.
Off my draft board, by the way.
Okay, I was just supposed to say, where would you take Nelson Cruz over Tatis?
In a main situation, yeah, I'm not taking Tatis.
What about if you had an IL?
Yeah, sure, I'll take him, and I'll take him over Cruz. Yeah.
Okay.
If I can hold him in an IL spot. You wouldn't take Fernando Tatis with a wrist injury for 3 weeks over Nelson Cruz.
3 months.
He's out for 3 months.
3 months, not 3 weeks. 3 months.
Oh yeah, then no one should ever take him.
Well, there were people in the industry saying he was there were people in the industry saying he was still a top 100 player. No, 3 months.
Sidelined up to 3 months. I saw 3 weeks.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, no. There's no price. There's no price.
Okay, then that's how I feel too. Like, I mean,
absolutely not.
Unless
Sorry,
you have
like that.
Like Tout Wars has unlimited IL. If you went for still like $5 in Tout,
I mean maybe, but
there's no way. I bet you he still goes for close to $20 in Tout.
Again, have fun. I mean, by all means, y'all have fun. I'm fully out there. Yeah, sorry, I missed. I read 3 weeks for some reason. I don't know why. All right, Matt Olsen traded. We knew it was kind of coming. Oakland's got the writing on the wall. They started with the Bassett trade. Now they trade him to Atlanta. Listen, Braves fans, I understand that you love your guy. I totally get that. You make connections with your players, and that's what it's all about. Freddie Freeman's a beast, and love him and adore him and continue to worship him. This is the smoothest handoff you could have gotten. So let's keep the tears to a minimum, okay? We get it, but you also just won the World Series, and you couldn't have replaced your 32-year-old first baseman better. So kindly shut up a little bit, okay, Braves fans? Shut up just a little bit. You guys are getting a little entitled. Well, I don't know how happy I can really be about Matt Olsen. Shut the absolute hell up. You just got a superstar who just did an amazing Freddie Freeman imitation, who's 4 years younger.
In Oakland, like in a way worse park on a way worse team.
And listen, I get it. In Atlanta situation, they could justify paying Freeman.
Absolutely.
Even doing like an 8-year on a 32-year-old. Like an 8-year for a first baseman is generally just a stupid idea, right? Like to pay a first baseman, that is generally bad. And so from the economics of it, like I understand, okay, we're not going to pay Freeman. From everything that they have, just winning the World Series and stealing money from Acuna and Albies the way they are, they could afford to do it because he also looks like he's going to age brilliantly. I wouldn't have even shaded them. I would have said, listen, I don't love 6, 7, 8-year deals for 30-something first baseman, but Atlanta could afford to do it, and it makes sense based on their whole thing. Because another issue with paying somebody like Freeman, what he's going to get paid is he's going to be a new team who didn't get any of his goodness, right? If Atlanta's doing it, they've had him the whole time. So the times that he was performing brilliantly as a rookie and making $8, they were getting that goodness. So if they look at it in a holistic picture, the Braves could really justify it. They chose not to. They gave you the second best option, though. Like, this is really, really good to get Matt Olsen. So please, Braves fans, have your morning time for Freeman, but then suck it up and be really happy with Matt Olsen because he's a better looking version of the guy you had. I'm sorry. Come on. Freddie Freeman is not an ugly dude, but Matt Olsen, what the hell?
I knew Matt Olsen was a thin dude, but man, he looks really thin.
Matt Olsen, I mean, come on. You can't look like that. That's not fair. That's truly not fair, by the way.
How does he get so many bombs being that thin?
It's how good looking he is.
Apparently,
have you heard of the thing pretty privilege?
Look at me. I've never heard that.
The ball goes further because of how hot he is. It's a phenomenon. You wouldn't.
I would think it would be the opposite. I thought like the uglier you are, like you would push the ball.
I understand.
Away.
This is common thinking.
Yeah.
This is kind of low level, and no offense, like you're just kind of low level with it, like your intelligence level. Mm-hmm. I'm at a higher level. I've studied this. Mm-hmm. You'd think, right? You'd think like be attracted to him because he's so hot. Attractiveness, exit velo. Henry has it. Attractiveness adds exit velo. Yeah. You have to study it. There's a lot of science to it. I'm not going to get into all of it right now because I doubt you can mentally handle it.
I think this is like breaking news, and like you should write this out.
I should write my abstract.
Yeah, and get it send it over to Saber. Because this is
now sometimes. It's not a perfect correlation because Chris Bryant, mad hot, and his exit velo is not keeping up there. So it is something that we're studying. Again, please, it's not peer reviewed yet. Please get off my back.
Yeah, because Kevin Kiermaier is gorgeous, and
he is. Listen, exceptions prove the rule. Okay. Kevin Kiermaier, remarkably hot, 0 exit velo, and it fooled us in the lab. We were like, what's going on right now? We're working on it, but we'll get back to you on the final thoughts there. This trade, though, was huge, and I really do like it for. I don't want to say both sides because I hate giving Oakland a pass.
Yeah, I'm not giving them a pass.
Operating in the world that we live in, which is where they do this. Okay, we don't have to give them a pass, but we just have to acknowledge that this is what they do. Given that we knew they were going to do this, I didn't hate the return. Christian Pache, Shane Langeliers, Ryan Cusick, and Joey Estes. Fine. I mean,
they get 2 major league ready hitters.
Yeah. They got their center fielder and their catcher because they're probably going to trade Murphy now that they got Langeliers. And then they got 2 pitchers. I don't know as much about Cusick and Estes. Do you have anything on them?
No, I don't. I haven't even done the research yet. Just been too many moves.
Yeah, no, the mid-tier minor leaguers that are getting moved.
My understanding is they seem to be fine. Like, they've got a little bit of upside.
Looks like Cusick is a reliever. He did strike out 51% of his batters in 16 innings.
I hear that's
Estes, good. Yeah, that's pretty decent. And then Estes is also very young. We're talking 20 years old next year, and looks like it could be a starter, but way down the line. Estes and Cusick, if they become something in this trade, we'll hear about them down the road. Be like, remember they were part of the Matt Olsen trade. So let's focus on Langeliers, Pache, and Olsen. First things first. Olsen, you mentioned he's always done his damage in Oakland. Terrible park to hit in, and it has not stopped him. He goes now to a quality park. This is definitely a park jump for Matt Olsen. Does this cause you to jump him up in your rankings?
Maybe no, because I had him 3. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, I think I had him maybe 4. I'm double checking. He should be 3 now. So I had him 4. He's now going to be 3. I will not get him anywhere. Just because I think his ADP jump is going to be so high that it's going to put him in the 3rd round. And I'm not taking a first baseman who doesn't run in the 3rd round.
What if you got speed in your first 2 picks?
Yeah, it just seems usually I'm going pitching.
If you go speedster pitcher.
reliever.
There's no world where you take him, man. I don't know.
It's
The relievers are
super unlikely.
The relievers are going to come down though, because you don't even have like your drafts are going to be the main and stuff like when things are more settled. And so I don't think the push for closers is necessarily going to be as aggressive once we start to get the more stability in some of those uncertain bullpens and Craig Kimbrell gets traded and we know who's closing in San Diego. Are you still going to be pushing for that second, third, fourth round?
I mean, there's
closer?
only 2 more closer shoes to drop. Like
no,
Kimbrell and Jansen, right? Like,
well, and all like 10 teams that need to give an idea of like where they're at, like who's closing in San Diego. That's a really good team.
Kimbrell.
He's not there yet.
I think he will be, but I'm just saying. But like, so Kimbrell's going to lock up one situation.
Yeah, and Jansen will lock up another.
Jansen will lock up another.
There's still like uncertain.
But are you going to trust those? Like, I'm not.
Like I'm gonna trust them more than like the part of the reason right now for me, the reason I'm pushing the saves up is the instability across so many teams. But once we kind of get a better read here, I think things are going to be a little bit more clear. To where if I don't get one of those guys, I'm not going to bug out. Like I still would like one, but it's not going to be as mission critical as it's been in drafts so far. Are you still going to keep that sort of criticalness? I don't know if that's not a word, but you're still going to kind of keep it at that DEFCON 1 level of like getting a okay. And I don't think that's terrible or anything. I'm just saying I think it will open me back up to maybe getting a Matt Olsen there.
Obviously,
criticalness is a word. Just sounds really shitty.
Yeah. Obviously, I think the tier of trustable closers thickens a little bit once Kimbrell gets traded. Obviously, Jansen was going to close wherever. The question is, who is he going to supplant, right? Like, is he going to knock Trinan out of a job? Is he going to knock Flora out of a job? I don't think he's going to knock Flora out of a job.
It looks like Miami not going to spend now.
Yeah, I think Flora.
I like that as an idea.
In the safe tier now. Especially with a report that Castellanos wanted to sign there, and they were like, "Nah,
they're not trying hard enough, right?"
Well, they just. I think the rumor is that they are willing to spend another like $10 million.
Yeah,
so that's not going to get.
He was saying like to your point, Castellanos was like, they just didn't really chase me.
Yeah,
kind of deal, which is like, hello. Go get Castellanos.
Yeah, a star wants to come to your up-and-coming team.
I know that part sucks for him. It wouldn't be great for fantasy, but I like it just to kind of make that team better.
Yeah.
It could be fun to have the Marlins exciting. So on my closer list, on our live ranks, thank you to those who are joining the Patreon, by the way, get the live rankings. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I don't
7,
see any
8,
closers
9.
on your closer list.
Because you're not looking at the closer chart. I didn't do a closer ranking. I did a closer chart.
Oh,
I thought it was more useful. So I only had 2, 4, 6. I only had 9 guys in the high, which was the green. Like they're locked in.
I like your little thing here. This is really useful.
Thank you. So I don't have. If you're looking for my RPs and you don't see a 1 to whatever, I will eventually have that. I was waiting for things to get more stabilized for that, but I did do a team chart in the interim. Help me figure out a word to where the medium would go in the middle when you do alphabetical order there, because you see how it goes high, low, medium.
It's not going to be easy to get something between H and L.
Yeah, that's true. That means like mid-tier too.
Maybe you need to change the L in low to something else.
Yeah. Unstable.
There you go. I like that. That'll work.
That way, when you sort it, it will be in that order when you do this. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Justin's looking at the sheet right now. If people are wondering what we're talking about
beautiful.
here.
I actually really like this.
Appreciate it. And then I put my next up and my dark horse for each. So look at the Pittsburgh dark horse.
They signed Heath Hembry this morning.
Oh, actually, I will put him in. Because he is,
and then Henry says that you can actually sort by color.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And then what else were you going to say? I need to change. Where did Ian Kennedy go again?
He went to Arizona.
So I have to change him to. But he's bothering. I still think Melanson's the guy though.
You need to take Lucas Sims out of being the guy in Cincinnati and change that to unstable.
Yeah. Because he's hurt. You guys talked about it on...
And put Alex Colomé in Colorado.
In Colorado. That's... Yeah. I knew there was an actual guy who signed. What are you doing with... do you think Bard is the next up then, or is it Estevez? I'm going to put them both together.
Probably both. It's probably Estevez. But now, do you care? Like,
exactly. Thank you. Literally took the words. You ripped them directly from my mouth.
I was saying last night, like,
I do not.
Alex Colomé signing in Colorado may be the worst possible spot for him.
Yeah.
And that includes signing somewhere to not be a closer.
Exactly. You're not even wrong. I totally agree with that. Like, it's
I mean, the amount of contact he gives up in that park.
Didn't develop a little homer issue too?
Yeah, this is not gonna go well.
This is
peak, Dave took him in the 25th round of Glarf, and I was all like, I don't know that I want him.
My takeaway when I wrote the article, including him, I did a little bottom line at the bottom, and for those that don't want to read the whole piece, and I was like, don't put yourself in a spot where you need Colomé's saves.
Absolutely.
Like, please do not. Anyway, we got on a tangent there with Matt Olsen, because you were talking about when he goes, you're probably going to be taking a closer. So bringing it back.
I do think, yes, I will be taking closers in the third
with that same urgency. Urgency was the word I wanted, not criticalness.
I will be very surprised if the closer prices come down. I think that I think what is going to happen if you're playing in, like, especially NFBC drafts, obviously your home league, you got to gauge it based on
what you know about your home league.
What you know about your home league. But if you're playing in the NFBC or in some of these big money leagues, I think the deals are going to be in hitting. I think you're going to be able to get hitters, like pretty amazing hitters, through the first 3 rounds. Because other people are going to, the starting pitchers are going to get pushed up, especially as guys get hurt.
Definitely.
And relievers will still stay high. If you look at like my barf team, I got potentially 3 first-ish round picks in the first 3 rounds. I started off with Albies, Betts, and Mullins in the first 3 rounds from the 12 spot.
I like that.
And still filled out my pitching pretty well.
I like that. Yeah, you showed me, I think, your first like 8 or 10 rounds, and I was like, yeah, because you got Sale, Lynn, and Will Smith for your 2 studs and closer. And, I think that works. You got an upside guy with Sale. You got the kind of stability guy with Lynn. Smith, I think, is a good, I think Will Smith, he's in the green zone, actually. I put him as high because I think he's locked and loaded in there.
Any worry about Ryan Presley? I know we're on like a complete tangent off. There's been some people in the industry question whether he's going to be the guy now that Hector Neris is there.
Yeah, like I think they have protection now, but I still think he's the guy. I guess the concern would be that like he's so good that they would want to use him just anywhere.
And I think that's
not a negative against him. It's actually more of a positive.
That's part of the argument. And I haven't drafted Presley just because he's on the bottom of that tier for me. But I don't. It seems like Neris has never really been that great. Like he's had moments, but he's never really been a shutdown guy, and the way that Presley's really been a shutdown guy.
True.
So I just don't know if I buy that. I've drafted Neris a couple times late in some DCs just for the hell of it. But
I think that's not a bad pick. I'm a big Ryan Presley guy, so maybe I got a little blind spot there. Maybe I need to be more open to understanding, Neris could be there. When I was writing up things, I think it was the last year with regards to closers, I remember talking about how coming into last year, Neris, from 17 to 20, he was like one of the leaders in saves in the league. Hector Neris. Again, we've derailed on closers.
This is a great third base conversation. Oh wait, we're talking about stuff.
Yeah. Matt Olsen, first base. We're not even on there yet. But Hector Neris, he had 70 saves, which was 14th in the league. So it's like he was kind of right there in that mid-tier area. So yeah, I mean, that's a guy they can go to if they want to have Ryan Presley more in that fireman's role. So that's dangerous. It's like sometimes you almost don't want that good of a reliever because they could do that to him. But I think he's good for now. I'm going to keep him green, but it is good note. All right. So Matt Olsen, by the way, I'd moved him down a little bit. I had him 5. I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm just going to play it a little bit cautiously. He was like 5 or 6 at my first base. And I was like, I don't know. I'm moving him back up to 3 now because I think this trade is really good for him. Obviously, going to an amazing team. And I love him. I still really love Alonso. So if Alonso's there, if both of them are there, I'm probably more apt to pass and try to get them. It depends where it is in the draft, but
I love Alonso and I love Goldie, Paul Goldschmidt. So, like, the hard part for me is taking Olsen, because I do think he's going to jump up into the third round, fourth round, and so I'd rather
went 37th in that one draft yesterday.
So
that one online.
And that was a 12-teamer, so that's
12,
the beginning of the fourth round.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather wait 2 rounds and get either Goldschmidt or Alonso.
Yeah, there was another draft yesterday. I don't know what it was because I just did all drafts, and there's 2 total.
Maybe a cut
so
line.
It's that OC, and then let me see. Yes, he went 23rd in that one.
Yeah, cut lines are a little different.
But it's hard to use because pitching gets pushed way, 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 way down. So let's not use that. Let's not even use a single bullet point. But he is going to get pushed up. You're right. Matt Olsen will be going higher for sure. And, just compared to where he's been, Matt Olsen prior to this move was around pick 50. So I think he can go up about 15 picks. I think you're right. I think a full round makes sense for Matt Olsen. Let's talk about what this does in Oakland, because that's the part that actually really has me excited about this deal, because I was eager about Seth Brown this year, and he could play a little outfield, little first base outfield. But with Thames there and Olsen still there, now obviously we spent most of the offseason feeling like Olsen was going to be gone. But until he was, you're still dealing with the fact that we don't know. But now, with him gone, it clears up space for Brown and Thames. Now, Thames is returning from an Achilles, so he's not a guarantee. He's coming back out from overseas. He did hurt his Achilles, and we don't know if he's going to be fully healthy. But Seth Brown hit 20 homers last year and 307 plate appearances. It was a little bit all or nothing for sure, because they had 29% strikeout rate, 214 average, 274 OBP. That's horrendous. But disjointed playing time, still ended up being a 103 WRC plus despite that, because of the power. I think Seth Brown can be a 30 home run hitter, and I'm very excited for him. How do you feel?
Yeah, I agree. I think it will come at the cost of your average or on base percentage, but yeah, I think he probably could hit 30 home runs. It does not seem like there's much in that system now to block him from getting full-time playing time. And I think there are going to be guys on this A's team, for those of you playing deeper leagues, that become somewhat interesting. As much as I don't think Christian Pache is any good offensively, he's going to play every day because of that defense. Like you said, Seth Brown is going to play. Steven Piscotty is going to play every day. Elvis Andrus is going to play every day. There's some guys that will accumulate stats in spite of that roster being truly atrocious.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're going to put guys in, they're going to put these guys that they acquired with Langoliers and Pache. Like they're going to let guys get playing time. You and I were talking about this before the show. You're saying that they're going to bottom out. And I was trying to tell you, like, they don't usually go full bottom scale, like 100 losses type deal. And I don't think that they necessarily going to here. They're going to be bad. Like they're ready to go in a down cycle. They do this all the time. There's like 3 years up, 3 years down type of deal. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 years up and then 2-3 years down. But they go in these cycles. They finished last from 15 through 17 in the division. Then they were second, made the wild card on both those and lost. And then first in 2020, which obviously weird season. And then third last year. And now it's time to turn it over because those guys you have to start paying them. So they're going to be down for a couple of years, but it's more of like a mid to high 60s, sometimes low 70s win type team. We have to see what happens with the pitching. If Manaea and Montas are gone, obviously that's a huge hit, but that park helps pitchers too. And so they'll let some of their prospects go. And maybe Dalton Jeffries is pretty decent. And maybe, AJ Puck finally does something, and Grant Holmes and Brent Honeywell, so that sometimes they're like decent enough just by virtue of playing their young guys. And I think that's what we're going to see this year. and we're going to see a bunch of guys play. I mean, I know somebody that we've talked about in the past as like a late round utility knife in a Swiss Army knife is Chad Pinder. Do you think he gets full-time run this year? And do you have any interest in it, even though he's had some issues hitting righties in the past? Do you like swipe right Chad Pinder?
Yeah, I think in a really deep league,
still like nothing, like a full-time role doesn't bring him any sort of extra interest for Chad Pinder for you. And I get it, by the way. I'm just asking.
No, not really. I mean,
it's really bad against righties, and that's tough.
Yeah, and it's still a really bad stadium, and just because he's going to get playing time doesn't mean like the team around him is going to be good enough to get a lot of runs and RBIs.
True.
I think sometimes we forget about like, hey, Seth Brown may hit 30 home runs. He also may have 45 RBIs. Yeah, with those 30. I can't remember who did something similar, like hit 20 home runs, but had like
40. your boy did, and it's because he let off. But
there you go.
Like, he had 30 and 60, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it 60 ribbies? Part of that's leading off, but part of that's Baltimore, because there have been other guys who have hit 30 homers in a leadoff spot.
It's the reason why Mullins is not a first-round pick. If he was on a different team doing, these homers.
59 ribbies.
Yeah, with 30 home runs. Like that
being himself. Yeah. More than half of his ribbies were himself. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Now, one thing to say with like a Pinder or a Seth Brown and any of these guys over there is don't underestimate what playing every day can do for a guy too. That can help them. It can expose them. It can go both ways, right? And so we don't know. Sometimes it can expose them further and all the holes are opened up, but they can also get in a rhythm. And instead of the disjointed play where, they're trying to hit a homer every time they get one start, they're playing every day and they can kind of get in a better flow. So don't be surprised if something like that happens. The guys I care about right now, though, are Seth Brown and Eric Thames. I'm interested in drafting both in Oakland.
I'm trying to look up what the over/under on wins for the A's are right now.
Yeah,
I can't bet in California.
Me neither in Texas, but we can do it.
But we're going to Vegas, and I don't even need to get a Vegas ticket. I can just use those DraftKings app in Vegas,
exactly,
and then get paid out. When I get back, they may have taken it off
just to see where they're at, right? Because they know they're
here we go. Over under 75.5. I would slam that under.
I would hit the under, but again, I wouldn't slam it because what if they don't trade both pitchers? They should. They should. But
you still need to score runs to win.
No, I know, but. Again, 75, 69, and 78 if
they win twice every 5 days, they still lose 60% of the games.
Yeah, I think they're going to be more of the high 60s, so I would hit the under as well. With that
over under 85.5 wins for the Giants, a team that just won 107 games.
Yeah, I mean, they're baiting you in with that over, but you guys are old as shit. Will the platoon thing work again? I mean, yeah, I think I would go over, but I understand that number. By the way, that's all for entertainment purposes only. You guys, if you can gamble in your own state, that's great. Yeah. But use your own money wisely.
Over under 32.5 home runs.
Oh, well, God, come on, that's the over. Is that a real one?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Under with every fiber of my
being. Put your bank account on that.
Yeah, like hello. I don't. Yeah, I can't.
I can't wait to get to Vegas.
Yeah, that one. I don't know why they're not taking that.
All right, we just spent 40 minutes on Matt Olsen.
Yes, Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez out to Cincinnati. From Cincinnati out to Seattle. Justin, let's just start with the obvious. Like the Reds are tearing down, but this is a brutal move for these guys, dude. This is a park devastation for both. Now, with Winker, I think it can maybe even hit harder because he has a home road split. With Suarez, he was more of an even home road type of guy, so it's not going to help or anything, but I think the damage could be a little bit less.
I think it will be much less. You know why?
Because he just has power and
because he just has power for days. His X home run, if he had played all his games in Seattle last year, is 34.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not as worried about Suarez.
I am worried about Winker, though.
I'm very worried. First off, still, cannot stay healthy. He had his breakout last year, but if you didn't have him on your team, you might have forgotten that he missed basically the second half. He only played 110 games. He set a career high with 485 plate appearances. That was 101 higher than he'd ever had before, and it's still not a full season. He's an amazing hitter, Jesse Winker is, but he's going from one of the very best parks to literally the worst for lefties over the last 3 years. Omar Narvaez is the only lefty with a positive WRC plus in at least 100 plate appearances as a Mariner in the last 3 seasons. Now, that also includes 20, so it's really only a 2-year sample, 21 and 19, but it's bad news. And Jesse Winker does like his home park. He had 294, 388, 569 in Cincinnati. That's coming down, and you have the volume risk. Are you moving Jesse Winker down your board?
I am. Because
and from where to where?
That is a good question. So
because I had him high, man. I love the talent.
I had him pretty high too. I had him around like 25. I've already moved him down to 31. The hard part is once you get past the first 20 or so outfielders, and even inside the first top 20, there are red flags aplenty. So
certainly, but he's got multiple now.
Well, because I think on top of the injury, I think there is still a great platoon risk. This is a
that's what I'm saying.
team.
No, it's a guaranteed platoon risk because he cannot hit lefties. Like he's a platoon guy, 100%. So throw that in. You're right. I didn't even bring that up. So platoon.
I think he gets a shot to play full time only because Kyle Lewis is going to miss the start of the season.
Yeah,
I think once Kyle Lewis is back, I think he's platooning with Kyle Lewis.
I don't think he gets that shot. I think Luis Torrens fits in there like as a DH, and they figure out somebody else in the outfield or something to that effect. Like I think
Jared Kelenic right now, like where does he play? Like center. If he struggles,
well, if he struggles, he has to come out. But he's the true center fielder, right? Like Dylan Moore and Taylor Trammell. He's lucky that he's got bad corners.
I think we just went from a muddled Cincinnati situation to now a very muddled Seattle situation. And
yes, it's like it's good for them, but bad for fantasy because now they've got like Abraham Toro's no longer locked and loaded and playing.
Yeah, I think he's probably a strong side platoon guy.
And he's a switch hitter, so that can help, but. I don't know. I'm nervous here, but I moved Winker way down. I moved Winker down to outfielder 42. 30.
Oh, it says 37 on your list.
Yeah, it's not, that one's not quite updated yet. I made a few more shifts. I got him now below Mountcastle, Gurriel Jr., and Benintendi. I would definitely take those guys above him. And honestly, I'm moving him down further. I'm going to move him with Austin Meadows. Like, how's he not just... Like, how's he not exactly like that? Like, they have a different makeup. Like, the hit tool is definitely there for
Meadows
Winker.
Higher than you, but yes.
But like, they're kind of similar in terms of that they're going to be part-timed. They have health issues, and again, the makeup is different. Meadows does not have the batting average of Winker, but the overall value I think is going to be similar. And I'm out on Winker, and it sucks. I love him. The talent's great. But I don't see it.
And seems like the nicest of guys. Did you see his exit interview in Cincinnati?
No, I didn't. Was he just really great?
He's just talking about how much he loves the city of Cincinnati. Like, because I love the zoo and the food and, this place. Like, he loved the city of Cincinnati.
So he's just bummed to be gone.
Like, he's like, I'm going to still come back and visit. And
he's like, I love this place.
I like you felt bad because you're like, you do forget, like, and then I'm sure you saw the Christian Pache, his announcement after the trade and stuff like that, just like how devastated he was to be leaving Atlanta. That's, it was heartbreaking. Like,
we always talk about it, right? We forget their people, and it's like, hey, man, especially going to be on like a bad team, a rebuilding team. If you're Christian Pache, going from the World Series winning team to the team that's going to be down. And even in Winker's case, he's not going to a bad team. He's going to a team on the rise, but he's been ingrained in Cincinnati now for a while.
Yeah.
He came up with them. So,
and Pache's been a Braves since he was 16.
16. And you're talking formative years that these guys are with these organizations and people that they can trust and feel comfortable with. Like,
how many adults, their best friend, are still their best friends from high school? Like,
exactly. And I always push back, like, when we compare baseball to like real life jobs. But you don't even have to, like, just, have you ever had a new job and how nerve wracking that is on the small scale, like going to be, moving from one store to another. I remember when I worked at the Gap, I moved from one store to the other. It's like, I don't know any of these people. I don't know anything. And that's just a stupid job at the Gap in college. This is a much bigger deal. So I'm not even trying to say it's a one-to-one comparison. I'm saying that's difficult on its own. This is much bigger. By the way, Winker drafted at 17. So he too, very young when he was first brought on by this team. So you understand the emotion there. But he's going to add to this team. We've spent a lot of time kind of poo-pooing him because from the fantasy outlook, it's not good. But from Seattle's outlook, it is good to add these guys. And of course, they didn't have to give up as much because it took on the Suarez money. So are you moving Suarez at all, by the way? You're not concerned about his hitting, but where's he at on your third base and shortstops?
Let's see. On third base, he is my 13th third baseman.
He's
staying there.
He stays steady?
Yeah.
Okay. And shortstop?
Shortstop, he is my 23rd shortstop. My 22nd shortstop.
Okay.
Because clearly I can't rank him above Luis Urias one spot and below Luis Urias in the other spot. So,
you have to be honest on that one.
Yeah. So and I should probably change it to Seattle. I love the vitriol I get in the comment section when I have a team name wrong.
I know that those are like the biggest ones. I've been trying to update ours. By the way, you'll notice in your outfielders that Seiya Suzuki was put on San Diego because you texted me that was done.
There was a blue check mark Japanese newspaper account that said it was done.
It did look legit. I agree. But
it's from a legitimate source.
It is legit, but like it's not done yet though.
No, it's not. No,
so
it's not done.
Because I put in
he's
SCP
being wined and dined at every possible location. He's got
good for him. He deserved this. Yeah, he deserved this over the winter, say Suzuki did, and didn't get it. So
I
now
think
he's getting it
sometimes
in.
these Japanese and Korean players sign too quickly, and then they get very uncomfortable in the city they're at. I think he's doing exactly what he should be doing, which is, hey, I'm going to be living in this area. I don't know anybody.
Let me see what's up.
I want to see like what the communities are like.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I respect him.
That being said, sign so I know where you're playing.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we want him to sign, but I totally respect him taking his time to be like, hey, I got to figure out what I got going on here, and I want to know what these teams have to offer me.
Any interest in the guys that went back to Cincinnati?
That's what I wanted to talk about. Brandon Williamson, Justin Dunn, and Jake Fraley. Justin Dunn, in my write-up, I put he needs like an unforeseen development at this point, right? Like there's nothing
like not playing in Cincinnati.
Well, that would certainly help at this point. But I'm talking about like you look at the profile, you can't really pluck anything out where you're like build on this. Like it's not really there as a starter's profile right now. He needs to come in with a new pitch or much more sharpened command or something. Something needs to change on his end that we're not currently seeing in the profile to get him there. Otherwise, I don't really see it. Williamson, however, is legit. He's a big-time prospect. He's the prize of this deal. And you would have liked a bit better price for giving Winker, but that's what the Suarez money was for, was to cover and make it a little bit of a lesser return. But don't think that Williamson isn't a legit prospect. He was 61 in our top 100. He's got 4 legit pitches. As he works and refines his command and control of them, he could be something legit for them. He could even be a summer call-up. He's 24 this year. He hasn't hit AAA yet, but he's going to be 24, and he'll be in AAA this year. So if he's pitching well, look for Brandon Williamson to be a summer call-up. Just know the name. The real winner is Jake Fraley, though. He's going to go out and he should be able to play the strong side of the platoon at the very least.
Yep.
Now, he showed a little bit of something last year when he had a little power speed run. It kind of fizzled out. He ended up with 9 homers, 10 steals, and 265 plate appearances because he couldn't stay healthy. He hit 210, but with a 352 OBP because he walked 17% of the time. is 27-year-old. Oh, automatic breakout. 27-year-old Jake Fraley. Is he moving up your list? Is he somebody of interest for you in Cincinnati?
I haven't moved him yet, but I definitely will. I mean, it's a better park. I think he actually has a clearer path to playing time in Cincinnati, obviously, than in such a loaded team in Seattle.
Yeah, he was not going to play.
There's power, speed. I think he could hit 230 and be very, very interesting if he gets 500 plate appearances. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested in Fraley.
I think he can even hit higher with the batting average. I think part of his strikeout rate and in concert with that walk rate is taking too many pitches. I think he needs to turn up the aggression a little bit. I think this has bordered into passivity. He doesn't have an egregious swing and miss. I think Fraley's just getting into so many deep counts that the strikeouts are coming. The walks are too, but hey, man, you're passing up pitches that you can hit earlier in the at-bat. Jump on those, get some better contact going. But I think there's real double upside here. I'm intrigued. I moved him way up my board.
Remember when we did episode 1000 with Eno and Jason and Nick, and you asked like who was the pitching prospect that would come out of nowhere to be interesting this year? My answer was Brandon Williamson.
Correct. I remember that. And it led Eno to also mention Matt Brash from that team.
This could not have gone worse.
Because now he's in Cincinnati.
So he probably will be up. I think he could be up earlier than summer. I think he's pretty close to being ready. He might even be one of those guys that skips AAA.
True. Again, 24. It could happen right away.
I don't want a rookie pitcher in Cincinnati unless they're Hunter Green. Even then, even with Hunter Green, I'm
still nervous about.
I'm very nervous.
Yeah. No, I totally feel that. But just keep an eye on Williamson. If we've seen good Cincinnati pitchers, though, it's not impossible. It's
just saw like 3 of them get traded, right? Or they're about.
Well, we've seen one get traded. The other two,
the other two are about to.
Are going to get traded. But yeah, I agree. Just make sure you know Brandon Williamson because he could become something this year if things pop off. Andrew McCutchen going out to Milwaukee. Quick one here. I think, I don't think he's only going to be short side platoon. That's going to be his biggest role, though, is to play against lefties. But he's Andrew McCutchen. He's still going to get playing time against righties. Should he, though? Would you rather that he's like the short side primarily because of how bad he was against righties last year? He was a 650 OPS against righties, 1027 against lefties.
I think he's a full-time player, dude.
Just unencumbered?
Who's he platooning with?
I mean, I'm just saying somebody because of how bad he is against righties.
I don't think he signs there unless he's getting a shot at full time, and they are full of righties.
I mean, they got Tellez and this Yelich guy.
He's gonna platoon with Yelich.
Does Yelich guy play every day? Since when?
I think unless they make another move, he's gonna be at least given the opportunity to be full time starting out.
Yeah, I think Tellez will take some of his at bats.
No, I think Tellez is platooning with Brasso,
which is so stupid, by the way.
Yeah.
No, because I think Brasso is going to mix in too, and Brasso will get some right. I don't think Kutch plays every day. I don't think he plays every day. He's going to play against righties.
Tyrone Taylor. They're going to platoon him with
any of.
They're going to platoon him with a bunch of righties.
I don't think it's a straight platoon. Yes, they're going to Jace Peterson's going to play too. I'm not saying it's right. Brasso, Peterson, Taylor, they're going to play.
Me and Andrew Jason Martinez disagree with you. I think he is going to play. I think he's going to play a lot. Now, and I think especially
sub 700 OPS against righties.
I think with the injury problems on this team, he's unless he's one of the injury problems, which he could be, he has been somewhat injury prone late in his career. I think there's going to be lots of paths to playing time on this team. So, I think he's pretty underrated.
Yeah,
he's going super late.
He went.
Danielle got him like the 27th or 28th round.
And I like that. He hit 222 last year. I like McCutchen, 27 homers, six steals, but he can't. I mean, you gotta sell me on him fixing himself against righties though. There's a 217 BABIP that might have played a little bit of a role, but he was pretty bad against them in the 2020 sample as well, and his BABIP was just fine. So I don't know, man. I think I need to be sold that he can handle righties every day before I think McCutchen is going to just be an unquestioned everyday player. I like the price. I'm open to that. But he's 35, and I just don't know if he's going to rebound against righties or not. That's my concern.
I just don't know who they go with.
I'm all the players that they have, dude. Like, it doesn't have to be a perfect platoon. Guys like Brasso, Peterson, Taylor, they're going.
Brasso's not going to play against righties. He's going to play. He's going to just play lefties, and unless there's an injury,
they don't.
Chris Keston Hura season. The problem is
teams don't just let guys rot on the bench.
The problem is almost all of these guys they have don't have options. So either Tyrone Taylor or Keston Hura is going to the minors. So
you're saying Brasso's not going to play against righties, but then you're just saying that McCutchen has no just will continue to play against him. He's been the same against righties over the last 2 years, over the last season plus. I don't want to use 20.
They just paid him
a full season. How much?
I don't know.
Yeah, jack shit relative to
more than Brasso
value. Okay. But again, that doesn't mean he plays every day. I don't even have a dollar amount here. Do we have anything on
more
than
what he got paid? I haven't seen it. More than I'm getting paid.
Yeah,
to have this conversation about McCutchen.
I mean, again, I like him. I think you're closing off the idea that he won't miss time. I think he absolutely will.
I'm sure he will, but I think he has a fairly decent chance of getting 500 plate appearances.
But again, and also, do you want that? He hit 222 last year. That's bad. It's very bad.
This is true. He also hit 27 home runs and stole 6 bases.
Okay.
I'll take that. If I'm getting that at the end of a draft, fine. Fine. A lot of guys going in the 28th round are going to hit 220 something.
Yeah, but they're not all 35 and can't hit 2/3 of the league.
If he continues to struggle or if he gets injured, you drop him. We're talking about the end of a draft.
Yeah.
Right now, if we believe roster resource, and
I mean, it's I love Jason. I don't want to
as a company man, we always believe roster resource.
No, that's just his best guess.
He is currently penciled in to be a full-time player.
That just means he doesn't have a platoon partner. That doesn't mean that he's going to play every single day.
As the number 4 hitter.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know if I buy it either. That. I think I'd rather have Hunter Renfroe hitting 4th.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially against righties.
Especially because I love Hunter Renfroe this year. Have I told you how much I love Hunter Renfroe this year?
You have not. You have not. I have told the podcast that, and then you'll probably say, I've been loving Hunter Renfroe long, and I'll be like, no, dude. I love him more, and we'll have a love contest.
He was one of those guys where I had him really low. I had him really low in my ranks, and then
you boosted him.
I went and saw what people made in terms of value in 2021, and I went, he was like a top 20 outfielder last year.
Yeah, no, Renfroe was a G.
And I dug into it, and I was like, I kind of buy a lot of this. He made real gains
from one good park to another too. Yeah. So I'm totally in on Renfroe. I really do like him. Good power guy down there too. I would take Renfroe over Cruz, and I don't have to. So that's another reason why I wouldn't draft Nelson Cruz at the elevated price that you're talking about.
I got Renfroe at pick 180 or something like that in Barf. I was pretty happy.
So as Cruz moves up, he's bypassing Renfroe. See ya, Nelson Cruz. I'm taking Renfroe.
I'll take both.
Fair, but I mean, I'm probably not. I'm taking them back to back. I guess if you need a big power infusion, that could be a really.
I don't think I need to take Renfroe back to back. I mean, like I said, I got Renfroe
if they're 150, 180. I mean, it's pretty close there. Obviously, that's
I don't. I mean, if I need the power, kind of just depends on the power.
That's a nice infusion there. If you did take them back to back, you could also maybe take this guy, Daniel Vogelbach, going out to Pittsburgh. What are you laughing at? He has a lot of power. He had 30 homers back in 2019.
Oh, yeah. 2019, huh?
Oh, yeah, because that was so far ago.
It was rabbit ball.
You don't think Daniel Vogelbach has power?
I don't think he has a ton of power. I don't think he has 30 home run power, especially not in Pittsburgh.
Okay. We're taking crazy pills today. I got it. Okay. All right. We're on some bullshit today. Okay. No problem. I mean, he's going to play a bunch. He'll get platooned. They got guys. They got Michael Chavis to be a kind of a perfect platoon with him. Short side.
That is the grossest platoon of all time.
It's not
Vogelbach
great.
And
I don't think he'll get 30 homers this year because I don't think he'll play enough for that. I do think he has the power capability to hit 30. He was a 788 OPS against righties last year with 8 homers and 224 plate appearances. I don't know. I think there's reason to think he could pop 20. It's a deep league play without a doubt. Doesn't seem like Vogelbach gives you any interest, but do you have any interest in Daniel Vogelbach?
No, bad team. I mean,
wait, when does bad team ever stopped you? You took Cedric fucking Mullins last year on the worst team in the universe. Like you use that as you can't use it as a positive and a negative.
I can.
No, you can't.
See how I do this?
I'm
the mental gymnastics here.
No,
like,
that's the thing.
I'm really good at this.
You're not.
For a big guy, you would think that I would be very inflexible. I am very flexible. Can do the mental gymnastics.
No, I'm completely pulling the rug out from under you on that. Absolutely not.
I think like in a DC, he makes sense.
Yeah, I think Vogelbach,
But I mean, outside, like I wouldn't draft him in a 15-teamer, like a 15-team regular league.
Yeah, probably
first base is so deep.
Yeah, but I mean, like one thing I like, and I'm just intrigued by it. I don't know if there's anything there, but like he makes pretty decent contact for a power guy.
Almost 90% zone contact.
I wish it would result in some batting average though. To counterbalance. Like, okay, maybe he isn't a raw 30 homer guy. So fine, be more in the 20s, but then why can't you hit 250 with all this contact? I know part of it's speed. He's never going to leg out anything.
Yeah,
but he's got he's a career 242 BABIP without being a heavy fly ball guy. So Vogelbach's kind of weird to me.
All of a sudden, he went from a guy who was like a 35% fly or 35% ground ball guy to like a 45% ground ball guy.
So he's just smashing the ball into the ground.
Yeah, and he's big and slow.
Do you think? Is there like he is big and slow? So related to that, is there like an inflexibility thing? I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn, but it's weird, right? Because you look at this like 6% swinging strike rate, 22% strikeout rate, 17% walk rate. This is a plate profile that I would with pop, I would generally be like, yo, this is kind of interesting for a 29-year-old. But I look at it and I'm like, these BABIPs suck shit. These batting average sucks shit. I don't know what to do. And so I end up just passing. I don't really take Vogelbach anywhere.
In 2019, when he had the 30 home runs, he had a pretty much 45% fly ball percentage. Every other year, it's been 35% or below.
So he can't elevate.
He just doesn't elevate. I think 2019 is an anomaly. I think he's probably like a 15 to 20 homer guy on a bad team that he's not going to play every day for. So
he'll have some runs.
Yeah, probably. I think he'll have some. And you pick him up off the waiver wire, and then when he goes back to platooning or guys come back that got hurt, then, he'll go back to being kind of a part-timer. But you don't draft that.
It's taking us an hour to get to third base. It's going to piss one person off. They were in the comments the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They apologized. So I'm tongue-in-cheek roasting here, but they're like, they don't even talk about third base until whenever. I'm like, it's all labeled. Yeah, we didn't start talking about third base until because we talked about.
Yeah, you're nice enough to give timestamps. I don't give timestamps.
Well, because we had just gotten moves, and so we were talking about Rodon and Kershaw and Ranger Suarez and all that, and they put like, if you're tuning in to learn about third baseman, the first mention's at 49 minutes. Disappointed, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's at 36, and I labeled it.
The listeners act as if we do the show for them. I'm just having a conversation with my friend, and we've decided to record it.
No, and I was like, listen, the timestamps are there. We started 36 minutes. We were really excited to talk about some deals. Come on, give me a little break here. He's like, no, I'm sorry. You're right. I apologize. So this is all good. But I was like,
hour and 4 minutes now.
You're really going to be mad about an hour and 4 minutes. So let's talk some third base. Our very first guy has already been discussed today, Eugenio Suarez. These are called the once great rebound candidates. we're not as concerned about him moving out to Seattle, but it will hamper him. It's still bad. It's just not as bad as it is for Winker. But I included Suarez with Matt Chapman, who will probably soon have a new home as well, and Mike Moustakis. Is he going to get dealt? Are all three of these guys going to be somewhere else by opening day? What do you think? Like, let's start with
who do the Reds have to pair with Mike Moustakis for someone to take that contract?
Exactly. Maybe Molly.
Oh, maybe
it's a Molly Moose.
To where though?
I don't know.
Who needs both pitching and a second baseman who's not good?
DH. He's good.
Playing second base.
Oh, who cares about that? He can play first, third, and DH. Second.
White Sox? No, they just signed Josh Harrison.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, I actually wouldn't be surprised if they kept Moustakis or if they traded him.
Same. I think he could reasonably stay, but he's got 34 mil on the books.
They can just move him back to third now that Suarez is gone, right?
Absolutely. So, like, that's the thing. Whatever they are acquiring in these deals, they can kind of keep moving it
because they're no longer as stacked as they were. So they could probably just go status quo with Moustakis.
He's got third unencumbered right now. India's got second. So yeah, they can
until they want to bring up Barrero and move Farmer to third.
He's got visa issues right now, it looks like, too. Barrero.
Oh, that's right.
So that's a bummer. So stay tuned on that. Here's the thing. These are worth knowing, but that doesn't mean automatic, like, move them way down your list, because they can be handled, like, in a day. Like, sometimes it can take a while, and it could be handled.
It's a bigger issue for pitchers because they're not able to ramp up in the same way.
Exactly.
So I'm not as worried about it for hitters. You know, Barrero could probably come in, he might even go to AAA anyways, but he could be ready in a week. Like, I'm not super worried about a guy who's a hitter coming off these issues.
But anyway, Moose, rough season last year, right? 66
it was
OPS plus. Yeah, 62 games, 600. I am open to throwing it out as, like, health concern. However,
I think he's a steal right now.
I've been drafting him like crazy.
Especially now that Suarez is gone, he's not going to have, like, someone to share time with. They've got the DH. Like, I think he's a real bargain if he stays where he is. I don't think he's going to be a guy who jumps up super much either. So yeah, I think Moustakis is a really, really good bargain.
Yeah, I don't think this trade, even though it does open things up a bit more, I think people are still believing that he was going to be a starter.
No one on Twitter was going, "Ooh, free Moustakis yesterday."
Moustakis season.
Yeah,
but I am actually really happy about this move for Moose, because it does clear the path, and I think he's going to rebound. Right, it comes down to health, and you're going to know, like, if he's not healthy, it is something that you can move from. He's pick 331 on average. He's not expensive for Moose. He is only third base eligible this year, but I'm totally fine with that. Third base is the position that sucks anyway. If I could pick only one, that's where I would want him to qualify.
That's why we took an hour to get to it, because we didn't want to talk about it.
It's so bad. Yeah, we were just trying to put it out. Justin, refresh MLB trade rumors. Are there any more moves? Please, 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 please. I do not want to talk about
the Rockies are really making a push to sign Bryant.
Would that get you back on him?
Yeah, I think it might.
Finally, you're so mean. You're so mean to him. So many of you in the fantasy world are mean to Chris Bryant. Leave him alone. I like Chris Bryant. Projections on Moose range from, well, it's basically playing time. They range from 18 to 30 homers, but the playing time ranges from 415 plate appearances to 644. Fangraphs depth charts happens to be the one that has him at 644 and 30 homers. Obviously, they are able to respond quickly to the trade and him getting a full-time role now with Moose. Do you believe he can get back to 30 homers?
I do, yeah. If he's healthy, I think he definitely can.
So, I think so too.
I think, like I said, I think he's a bargain where he's going right now. So,
have you already drafted him?
I think I've got a couple shares. No, I always say that and then I check and I don't.
I think. Let me see. I do have him in.
I don't have him anywhere.
I have him in 2
so
already.
I like the thought of Moustakis, but
you like the idea of him, yeah. I have him in 2 already, and then a third, the one I'm in right now, the one where I took Joe Ryan in the first round. I have Moose in that draft as well. So I got him in 3 drafts. I'm in, and I do think he gets back. And if not, I think you'll know with the health, and you can kind of move on from him. So I do think it's one of those cut and dried sort of things where you're in or you're out, and you don't have to worry too much about it with Moustakis. Matt Chapman. We all expect him to get traded now as they continue to dismantle the ball club. I'm not sure exactly where it is. All of it should be better than Oakland, right? Like it's hard to find a worse park that he could go to. He is coming off a 27 homer, 72 RBI season, but it came out with a 210 average, and his strikeout rate issues from 2020 held. We saw that in 2020 when he was dealing with the injury, 37 games. We're like, well, maybe that's not the new him, and it was just kind of injury and a rough season. 33% strikeout last year, which was really tough. Is this just who he is, or is there a path back to, mid 20s strikeout rates for Matt Chapman? How are you viewing the 29-year-old third baseman possibly in a new home sooner than later?
Somebody, and I'm blanking on who it was. I was talking to somebody on a podcast, and they said, "Isn't Matt Chapman just Joey Gallo at third base?" And I went, "I'm going to push back on that." And then I kind of looked, and I went, "Oh God, that is eerily similar."
Certainly last year, yeah.
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 And so, like, I want to move Matt Chapman up my board, but I find it really hard to do it. Like he deserved that 210 average he had last year. Like,
yes,
that was earned.
It was indeed.
And you can't even say like, well, he was coming off the hip issue, and so he struggled out of the gate, but like he was worse in the second half than he was in the first half.
It didn't get better. He might have worn down, but like he played all year, and I do think that he probably wasn't 100%. I think Chapman, he played 151 games. Being on the field does not mean you're 100%. He's that grinder type who's going to play. So he might have been playing more at 85, 90%. And it showed. It was bad. But is there a path back? Like what do you think?
I mean, maybe he's healthy and he just, doesn't strike out so much. But it's more of like a gut feeling than it is like I can see something in the profile or see something in his swing.
Yeah.
It's a matter of like, hey, he used to be better than this. But at some point, you also have to go, maybe he doesn't get back to being that guy. So, especially because he is a guy who plays defense so hard and gets nicked up. And so, yeah, I have not drafted him. I probably won't draft him.
Okay. I'm torn. This is a guy I really like, man. I was really, really on the Matt Chapman train. Just in general, I have him in a lot of spots. I have him in 4 drafts already, including TGFBI, the triple play we were in together, the DC that we were in together, and the Arizona Fall League draft.
So I got him in the 3 leagues we're in together.
Yep, I got him everywhere.
So just get him if we're in the same event. Just draft him again.
I mean, I'm not
from him because
I'm not averse to it. I don't feel like I'm paying an egregious price, and that's why I keep going back to the well.
It's a very enticing price. It really is. Like, he is going super late, but there is a reason he is going super late.
Exactly,
and the skills are gross.
It might be a name value thing that makes it enticing too, because you see such a glossy name down there, and you're like, ooh, Matt Chapman. And then, like you said, you did the double take when someone told you Joey Gallo, and you're like,
I wish I could remember who said that, but yeah.
It is Joey Gallo. It is a Eugenio Suarez-esque. And Josh Donaldson goes after him. Maybe he shouldn't. He should. Eduardo Escobar, maybe he should go ahead of him, to be quite honest. Jamer Candelario doesn't have quite the power, but definitely has the batting average. Maybe he should go ahead of him.
He should.
And none of those 3 guys are going ahead of him consistently. Or 4 guys.
Here's the thing with a guy like Chapman, because it's a guy like Gallo. And so when Danielle was doing her TGFBI draft this year, I created a spreadsheet for her so she could input the projections for each one of her players that she drafted and see like how it moved guys up and down the statistics, especially for things like, it's easy to do for counting categories for your ERA, whip, and batting average. It's hard to kind of like see like how things are going to move things. In order to draft someone like Gallo, who is someone she was considering at one point.
Yeah, because you need power.
Sorry, no, it was Patrick Wisdom or Miguel Sano.
Okay.
In order to like make up for a 200 batting average, you need 2 guys who are going to hit 280.
Like full-time 280 as well.
Yeah. Like it's such to get to a 260 batting average, you need 2 guys who are going to hit 280 or above to make up for a Joey Gallo or a Matt Chapman.
or an Andrew McCutchen, and that was my point earlier.
Or an
And
Andrew
I know
McCutchen.
he's cheap, and that was your
But the
pushback.
difference is McCutchen may not play every day, so you actually don't need as much.
That's
You
true.
might
That's
get
true.
away
That's true.
with because he probably only gets 450 plate appearons, but Matt
Chapman can
Chapman
get 650 if he's
he had
healthy.
622 last year, and he was injured for part of it. Like he's gonna he could have, like you said, 650. Like that's really hard to make up that batting average.
No, you're right. It's almost where his volume can become a detriment.
It absolutely is if you care about batting average. Now, if you are punting batting average, perfect guy to go after. Like,
but try not to ever be punting anything at the table.
I don't mind punting,
if you can avoid it.
I really don't. But
I'm
a big proponent of it in the standalone leagues.
Yeah, and you have done that successfully. I try to not be actively punting at the table. If I get there, if something leads me there, that's one thing. But I don't like to go in with the plan of like, oh, I'm punting here.
Yeah.
So, but
it's not for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. How you manage and how you want to manage is important, and keep that in mind when you're doing this, right? It comes down, we talked about it as far as like people that you'll put on your team. It's the same as this is a little bit different, but it's same vibe of like, you want it to be fun and enjoyable for you the way that you want to play. So keep that in mind with batting average. But yeah, good chat there on Chapman. I don't feel bad about all the shares I have. I understand the risk that comes with them, though. Absolutely. The scary rebound candidates: Alec Boehm, Kevin Biggio, and JD Davis. They're scary because they don't really have that much of a peak. We're grasping onto something that isn't that bankable. Alec Boehm had 9 seconds in the majors that we thought was really great, and then completely fell apart last year. He went from a 137 OPS plus in just 180 plate appearances in 2020, and then last year he was a disaster, down to a 75 mark. Now he is kind of getting that, okay, you burned us, so we're going to put you in the discard pile. He's going down at 283.
Yeah.
Is that cheap enough to get you back in on the Boehm train, or were you ever in on the Boehm train?
I was huge on the Boehm train. I apologize for misleading everyone, because I think
this whole pod, because we both were. So, and Cabrian, to be honest, I think we drove on both of them. We said, well, both.
Third base was a bad position for baseball, but also for us.
Yeah, we were like, both, go get them. So yeah, I'm with you on Alec Boehm. But are you getting back in at this price?
I have drafted him once. I just double checked it. It was my first non-Arizona Fall League draft of the year. I've not drafted him since. I just don't know. I mean, they sent him down when they didn't really have a great replacement. So
because he was struggling so badly.
What's stopping them from doing that again? If he struggles again, and I just don't know that the upside is so great. I mean, obviously 2020, he's not going to have near that kind of year again. Like he hit 338. Like it's just he just
410 BABIP. Yeah,
it was just a 60-game season. Like it just was. So like, is he like a mid-teens homer guy with a decent batting average, like a maybe 270, 280 batting average and 5 stolen bases?
Yeah.
Like, is that kind of upside worth the downside? I don't know that it is.
I think at the price it is, because Alec Boehm, again, is going at 283. Isn't there more upside, though, too? If you, like, the projections have what you said.
Oh, that's what the projections are saying? Okay.
Yeah, because, but they're saying it in 120 games. Do you think that's his full season?
Yeah, I think that's what his full season line is. Like, I think that's 145 games or whatever. Like,
okay, so you're definitely under the projections, because if they like him for this, what you said, mid-teens homers, 5 steals, and a solid average, mid 260s for 121 games,
he needs to make some real changes to his swing path in order for him to unlock any more power than that. I mean, this is a guy who's got like almost 60% ground ball percentage.
I mean, this is only giving him like a 140, mid 140s ISO with these mid-teens homers.
Yeah, I really don't know that he's going to be anything more than that unless he stops hitting the ball into the ground. Like,
yeah.
No, I think that's part of the approach. Is he is not a guy trying to put the ball in the air. He's just trying to get on base, and that might be great for his real life value, but for fantasy, that is not great. And I just don't see, unless I see, he's one of those guys, like, we start seeing spring training games and he's launching stuff in the way that, like, Vladdy was launching stuff, I will completely change my tune. But not to say he can become Vladdy. I'm not saying
no. But just
please
you're hoping
please don't make a RotoWare shirt that says Alec Baum is the next Vladimir Guerrero.
Luke Cooper wrote up a piece on Boehm's power here, and I'm gonna have to read it after because I had not read it. Like, just asking like where's his power, and I am going to be curious of his takeaway.
It's in the grass in front of home plate.
I mean,
those divots.
That is the problem. He does beat the ball into the ground a lot, like you're saying.
I want
25
him to be
years
good.
old. Yeah, I think there's upside. Listen, I think that all the downside is covered in the price. 283 is a perfectly fair price for me from Alec Boehm.
Yeah,
that I can take that.
I think usually by then I've got my guys though.
Yeah, I mean, Moose is right there, so I'm taking Moose or Chapman. He's in between Chapman and Moose, which is why I don't have any.
I'll take Moose every day there.
I will too, but
and usually I'm trying to tag third so much earlier because I don't want to play in this back end of the pool.
Correct, and I'm hoping to get like a corner here. By the way, we talked about this on the last episode. You said, what's the difference between like your corner and your third? There's no difference. They're just positions. I agree to a degree. I think what people are saying when they say that is corners go later. Generally speaking, you fill it later. And the implication when you're saying, I'd like this guy as my corner, is that you're trying to pay a cheaper price.
I think it's fair, but I also have heard people like break down drafts and go, I don't like him as your third baseman. Like, what does it matter? I've got like top 8 round first baseman to make up for that. Like,
no, that I don't necessarily agree with.
I understand what you're saying, and that makes a lot of sense, but the way I've heard other people talk about it, like, I do not care.
Like, there's more value to third base than there is to the corner.
Like, you get more points or something because your third baseman is better than your CI. Like,
CI and MI are half points.
Like, it was the whole argument. Like, well, I don't want to like a very like I don't want to block my UT with a really, really good player.
Exactly.
Why?
It's like
it's still production. Player. Like, the production counts the same at UT if it as opposed to in the outfield,
because they think there's magic players going to fall to them late in the draft that they have to be able to take. And that's the thing I always push back on. Kevin Biggio broke out in 19 as well, 16 or not as well. Boehm was 20, but he broke out in 19, came up for 100 games, went 16 and 14 homers and steals, only hit 234, had strikeout issues, but he was another guy. You talk about like passivity, did not have a big swing and miss rate, had a 17% walk rate. So like Fraley, we were talking about earlier, that's what Kevin Biggio is like. He is a guy going up there, almost looking for the walk, getting in these super deep counts. So keeps the strikeout rate high, even though he doesn't have a high swing and miss. The walk rates are high, but he was down to 7 homers, 3 steals in 294 plate appearances last year and 84 WRC plus. Have we already seen the best of Kevin Biggio, or can he get back to double-double world?
I mean, I think there is a universe in the Spider-Verse that Kevin Biggio is still good. Okay. I don't know that I'm betting on it. I have him on one team. It was that team where I told you it's just like the worst possible roster construction.
Yeah, you hated the
build.
And
this is the example of why you don't just take best player available for the first 6 to 8 rounds. Because by the end of it, you go, oh no, Kevin Biggio is my starting third baseman.
And you don't like that?
No, I don't like that. Even though I've got 2 good CIs. The spinal issue that he had last year scares the crap out of me. If it wasn't for that, I would be more interested, but you add on kind of the completely falling apart of the profile into an injury risk already, and a chance that maybe Toronto says like, hey, you aren't going to be a starter full time if they go get a Matt Chapman.
Well, they're talking about getting Freeman though too.
Yeah, but Freeman would
Vlad back to third. Yes, he would. He'd move Vlad back to third.
But then Biggio could play second.
I guess we have a pencil in at second right now anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if they might like Santiago Espinal more.
They might. And so like I took him in that one draft where everything just went to shit. But that's the only scenario, and I'm hoping that the rest of my drafts, not everything goes to shit.
Here's the thing. He was a 40 future value. in his 2019 report. I've been playing a lot of OOTP lately, Out of the Park Baseball. Excellent game. Just a brilliant simulator that mirrors real life just so well. 40 level players can spike a decent season, right? Mm-hmm. And if you add 19 and 20 together, that's like a good season for Biggio. It's 159 games of a 117 WRC plus. It's about the max of what a 40 can do. I think we've probably seen the best of Biggio. I think it really only either maybe inches back up toward that. It's not going to be better than what it was in 1920 combined. It's probably not even going to get back to it.
Some drastic changes.
Exactly. And I don't see that coming.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I need to see it first. As for, I definitely could see it coming. Blue Jays are a good organization. He has talent. But I need to see it first. I'm not going to pay on the bet that it's going to happen.
Yep. I think that's fair. Mets, JD Davis, also a 2019 guy, right? A lot of rabbit ball guys here that we're talking about or two out of the three, I guess. And then some of the guys from the previous grouping, including Matt Chapman. So JD Davis hit 22 homers with a 307 average and 453 plate appearances in 2019. Was still pretty good in the 2020 season, 56 games. And was good again last year, 73 games worth of a 130 WRC plus. Health really got him, though. The strikeout rate did surge up to 32, but he still hit 285 because when JD Davis hits the ball, he destroys it. Now, he had a 426 BABIP last year to keep that batting average high. That's not going to happen again, even in 211 plate appearances. But can JD Davis stay healthy enough to have like a full breakout? I think 19 stands as his breakout right now, but even that was still 453 plate appearances. Is there a path to a 500 plus plate appearance JD Davis breakout?
Not on the Mets.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be traded, and that has been rumored. I mean, both him, McNeil, and Dom Smith have all been rumored to be available, and that the Mets are shopping them. So I think that there is, I think, oh my God, so Matt Olsen just got an 8-year extension.
They paid him?
Yeah.
Is that Sharp talking to you about it on the phone?
Ken Rosenthal tweets that, $15 million in 2022, 21 in 2023, and then $22 million from 24 to 29. They gave Olsen an 8-year contract, but they would not give Freeman a 5-year.
He's 4 years older.
I understand.
Again, from the baseball business standpoint.
I understand. I'm just surprised.
I know. No, I'm not disputing you. I'm saying from the baseball.
We don't need to talk another hour.
This makes a ton of sense. But in Atlanta's situation, they could have just paid Freddie. I agree. But that's crazy. Anyway, JD Davis, are you betting on him? Are you buying him?
No.
He's pick 420 though. You're not in on it at all because the performance has been good all the way through. I know you're worried about the playing time, but
targets. He's not off my board, or anything. But there's just other late round targets I tend to lean towards. So, okay. I mean, if I'm in need of a guy, I like the multi-position eligibility. Right?
Third and outfield.
Nope,
just third this year in 20 gamers. In 20 gamers. Yeah, no, he only played 73 games, so yeah, he didn't really have time to qualify anywhere else. It's just third base.
I honestly, if it's just third base, then probably not. Like, unless he ends up in a better situation, like, I mean, anywhere he goes, maybe a better park, more than likely, unless he's part of that Chapman deal. But he needs full-time playing time. I'd rather take a guy with full-time playing time, like my boy Carter, keep him.
All right, we're going to try a speed round. We're very bad at this because we both like to talk a lot.
So one more hour.
I'm going to keep you on track.
Yep.
Single category use. Luis Arraez, batting average, Patrick Wisdom, power. Which of these two appeals to you more if I force you to take one?
Patrick Wisdom, because I feel more confident in the playing time. I think the trades to Minnesota may jeopardize the full-time playing time for Arraez.
They absolutely did. Now, I forced you to take one of them. You took Wisdom. Are you taking Wisdom?
I have. Okay. If I'm in desperate need of power late, but it needs to be desperate need. Because as much as he has the clear path to playing time, well, yeah, you're going to take the average single, but there's also a chance he loses that job. Like, he could just turn back into a pumpkin.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I know we have Arraez.
Beefy, burly pumpkin.
And hey, we talked a lot about the good-looking players of the league. He's also sharp.
Yes.
Luis Ariz is penciled in at second, and Polanco's at short. Twins fans have said Polanco cannot play short. So I love Jason. I think he's wrong on putting Polanco at short, and Ariz is not a full-time player right now. So I agree with you there. The potentially useful guys, Abraham Toro in Seattle, Joey Wendell, Miami, Ha-Seong Kim, Pittsburgh, Hunter Dozier, KC, Yandy Diaz, Tampa Bay, Brian Anderson, Florida, or Miami, excuse me, and then Josh Harrison, the White Sox. Toro just got hit yesterday. Are you still in on him? I know we liked him, but now with this deal.
Probably not.
Okay.
I just, unfortunately, I mean, he's still multi-positional eligible. Maybe I take a gamble on him really late because his price will crater.
That was my question. Do you think the price goes down now for Toro?
Like, I think he could be a $1 player at tout this weekend. So, he may be a guy I try to sneak through early or something. But, I don't know. His playing time isn't safe enough at this point.
And that's a bummer, too, because I was liking Abraham Toro.
Yeah.
Joey Wendell, quietly went 11-8 last year, just 2 steals shy of a double-double, although it was 8 for 14. So be careful. He's not a good base stealer, but he does have 8 3 straight years and then 16 back in 2018. Usually a decent batting average guy, gave you a non-zero pop. Do you like Joey Wendell as a utility guy in Miami? He does have dual eligibility as well.
I don't think they're going to add anything else. And so I think he's probably going to get to 500 plate appearances.
Him or teammate Brian Anderson?
Wendell.
Because of Anderson's health or skills or both?
Both.
Okay. Ha-Seong Kim, we love him.
3 months of Tatis being gone, I'm all in on Ha-Seong Kim.
How much does that help our boy?
Oh, my God.
We don't cheer injuries, but we do acknowledge that they create potential opportunities, and Ha-Seong Kim now has a better chance.
I think Preller even said, like, because he was asked, like, would they be in on Correa or Story, and they don't want to. They don't want to make a mess of things long term. We have Ha-Seong Kim. We signed him for a reason.
Yes, I love that. So that's our boy. How much do you think he'll go up? He is going at pick 346 on average. Where do you think Kim?
Probably inside the top 300, but I don't think it's going to go much higher than that, if even that high, because he was so bad last year on surface wise. So
yeah, a lot of people aren't digging him anymore because of how bad he was. But you and I are staying fully bought in.
Yeah, I think he's a sneaky play.
Yeah, I was in before, hoping he would just super util. Now he has a clear path with the Tatis injury. Hunter Dozier couldn't have been a bigger disaster last year. I mean, I guess he could have. 82 WRC plus, those pretty bad. Did hit 16 homers with 5 steals, giving a little intrigue. They're paying him a bit. He is playing. Hunter Dozier doing anything for you as a potentially useful guy?
He needs to hit now. Like, he has 3 weeks until they bring up Nick Prado and Witt.
And start to make things heavy on him.
Yeah. There's a lot of exit velocity. He needs to make contact. I'm willing to chalk up a lot of it to he got COVID in 2020 and then got hurt last year. But he's got 3 weeks to figure it out. And then he's screwed. So
yeah, I think that's a great way to put it.
Don't draft him in a draft and hold. Don't draft him in a league where the replacement on the waiver wire is awful, because he may need to come off your team very quickly.
Yeah, be careful with Hunter Dozier, but keep an eye on him, because if he does get going, there is still some intrigue there, but it can go away quickly. All right, from Hunter Dozier to Yandy Diaz. Can he lift the ball, or is he just the same guy? Are we done pretending that he's going to take a change in talent and actually start lifting the ball? Is he just
until I see it? I'm not going to believe it. Like, I need to see it. Like,
it's low double digits homers as a part-time player.
Like,
mostly
he's a first round pick in my arm wrestling competition, but outside of that,
100%.
Yeah, no, sorry.
I'm totally with you. Brian Anderson, we already talked about. Josh Harrison, you mentioned he goes out to the White Sox. I think you guys talked about that on Sunday's show as well. Super util, can play anywhere, does not have a guaranteed spot right now, but Leury Garcia is penciled in at second. And Adam Engels.
They just signed Leury Garcia to a 3-year contract. Leury Garcia is playing.
I mean, Josh Harrison can mix in for everybody. So
yeah, and all this does is complicate other people, right? Like, what happens out of Gavin Sheets and Andrew Vaughn.
Two guys I love.
Yeah, I mean, this makes a lot of them hard to draft. I'm not probably drafting Josh Harrison. I'm probably not drafting Andrew Vaughn, even though I'd love to. And I'm probably not drafting Gavin Sheets. So
I'm still drafting Sheets.
Yeah. Why would you draft Nelson Cruz at pick 120 when you can get Gavin Sheets 200 picks later?
Okay, I'm not going that far.
I just
but don't be surprised. Gavin Sheets
But
was
you can't
awesome
draft
last year.
if you like Gavin Sheets, you can't draft.
No,
Nelson
exactly.
Cruz.
That's part of why, another reason why I'm not taking Cruz. I do have Sheets in 3 leagues already, so I'm in on the Sheets.
Yeah.
You know who I really like in this, and the Josh Harrison complicates, this guy in our next group here, the unheralded youth, Jake Berger.
Yeah, he's buried, and I've got lots of burgers.
But he can quickly emerge, though. I think he's a guy that if the talent plays, they're going to find a spot for him.
I've got him in 3 leagues.
I like that. He's a former first rounder back in 2017, and health has been a disaster for him. But he's back, feeling healthy. He's talking up on his instas, on his socials that he's ready to go. I do think that if he's healthy, Jake Berger can find his way into roles, but we don't know that missing piece yet. So
Burger rolls.
So you've got your burgers.
I like Jake Berger a lot. I think he needs a trade. I honestly,
he might need
he
it.
could be part of a Craig Kimbrell deal or something, or a Mike Moustakis deal. I don't know. He needs.
I think it's
needs
fair.
a different location. Maybe Oakland would
in
be
a Montas Minaya deal, because
in a Montas or Minaya deal. That would be really interesting.
They're talking Montas Minaya right now. Montas would be a return to the White Sox. He's been there before, and get Berger and some other pieces over there, and give Berger a full-time role. Then you can trade Chapman, put Berger at third. I would love that. Jose Miranda. People were talking about him the other night with this trade, with the Donaldson trade. Urshela should have third, though. But again, go back to my point about how Polanco's not going to play short.
Miranda's really rough defensively. So he's a DH. That's
Alex Kirilloff's role right now.
Kirilloff's going to need to learn how to play the outfield.
Or with that body, he's got a bat that says he can DH.
So Miranda defensively, Miranda is ready offensively. Probably doesn't have a defensive position unless he's the DH.
And moving Donaldson doesn't really help him, though, because Urshela. Now maybe Urshela is the shortstop, Polanco at second, and then there's some third base potential for
Urshela could be the shortstop,
Miranda.
but there's been a lot of talk about Story.
Yeah, I've seen that they're in on Story. So bottom line, though, I don't think it's Polanco, and I don't think that the trade of Donaldson really helps Miranda. So I'm only drafting him in draft and hold, maybe. I'd be careful with too many guys that don't have guaranteed roles. He could be maybe one of my prospects. I'm open to taking like 2, maybe 3 prospects in a 50 round. I could maybe do Miranda because he should at least be on the roster. I can't believe he didn't get a call last year with the season that he had. He popped 30 homers at Double and Triple A combined with a 344 average. Nary a call for him. That tells you how bad the defense is.
Yeah, he's ready offensively. He does not have a defensive spot.
All right, make your case for Carter Kieboom.
He's playing every day. That lineup is getting better. There's still talent in that bat.
Okay.
I think finally got the role all to himself all year. This is his
put up or shut up.
Yeah, make it or break it right now. So, you're getting him super, super cheap. I'm going to take the gamble here and there.
That's Carter Kieboom with the Nats. And I don't blame you. I think I've even taken one maybe myself with Carter Kieboom. No, I don't have him yet.
One team.
But yeah, I'm not averse to it. We'll see if it happens in the rest of my draft season. Kevin Smith is a guy that our commenters have asked about in a few different spots there. Like, you haven't brought up Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith over in Toronto. People might not know that he's a Toronto prospect. Playing time right now is really sketchy if they get somebody else. But Biggio and Espinal at second and third means that those spots are not blocked off. Does Kevin Smith do anything for you?
He's got some speed.
He had 21 homers last year too at AAA. He had a great AAA season.
If we are getting closer to opening day and he does, they have not brought in someone else in. If like the Matt Chapman shoe drops and other shoes drop, then yeah, I think he is a draft and hold kind of guy, or on your watch list. But right now, I think he's third fiddle to those two guys, to Espinal and Biggio. But
I agree.
I don't think either of them have such a stranglehold on the job that Kevin Smith can't find his way in the lineup.
285, 375, 61 with 21 homers, 18 steals in 94 games at AAA last year for Kevin Smith. Also has a future value 40 on him right now. Hit tool isn't very strong. We need to see if that can develop a little bit, maybe get him into that 45, 50 range of player, which could be a little bit more impactful. Unheralded youth, they're done. The boring, Rougned Odor, we've discussed him. Jason's discussed him a ton. Santiago Espinal, we did just discuss him or in a passing mention. He played a decent bit last year, 246 plate appearances, hit 311 with 2 homers, 6 steals. Is this a cheap speed player? Is there even a bunch of any speed upside from here with Espinal? He's going to be 27 this year.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, like I just
said, a little bit of a shrug.
I think I don't really want to bank on any of these guys. I think these are all waiver wire guys in most formats. I mean, I guess you take a gamble on him in a draft and hold because he probably at the way things are constructed right now, I think he might have a shot for playing time. So, but
yeah.
Like you said, like if Freddie Freeman does sign in Toronto, Vlad Guerrero goes over to third base again.
Espinal's utility and Kevin Smith's back to AAA.
Yeah. Or you have 3 guys battling it out for the second base job, right?
And
Biggio
I guess he
probably has the leg up. So
I would think that's true.
Yeah, I just think I mean, draft and hold maybe, but I don't know.
John Birdie, still a speedster. Still,
he's gonna have a role, man. Like
he should be in a nice utility role. Can he really deliver enough speed? Like last year, he hit 210. So 8 steals in 85 games.
Though.
Yeah, it was not good. I wrote up his profile in the forecaster, and there was reasons to kind of maybe give him a little bit of pass for last year, but he's 32. He's never had more than 287 plate appearances. Is there enough time there for mixed league viability, even draft and hold deep? Like what formats are you taking John Birdie in? NL only makes sense, but beyond that, is there anything else for John Birdie?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking right now without a spot. Let's hear it.
The Dodgers have signed Jake Lamb.
Oh yeah, I love Rake Lamb, but that doesn't move the needle.
A $1.5 million major league deal.
Good for him. That's awesome. I love Rake.
Does that mean Edwin Rios is not?
Edwin Rios' shoulder's screwed. He had labrum surgery in May of 21. Like, what's the recovery on that?
Shouldn't be a year.
I don't know. I like him, but I really do like Edwin Rios, but I think he's kind of wrecked. I don't know. I don't know what
DC where my 4 first basemen are Edwin Rios, Keston Hiura, Frank Swindell, and DJ LeMahieu.
Oof. Oh, that's tough.
Hiura just got screwed. He's going to the minor leagues with McCutchen in town because he's one of the guys with options.
That's
and if
brutal.
Edwin Rios isn't playing at all, then I drafted 2 first basemen.
You got DJ LeMahieu at least. Yu Chang did a little something in Cleveland. I swear to God, I saw every game that he was good because I would have thought that he had because I would have thought he had a 140 WRC plus with the amount. I saw all 9 homers. I swear, because every time I freaking watched a Cleveland game, Yu Chang was going yard, and he only had 9. And I'm like, this guy wasn't even that good. He had an 85 WRC plus, but he is 26 next year, or this upcoming year. Is there anything there for Yu Chang? I don't like the plate skills. He had better plate skills in the
He's
minors.
not good.
Okay. Yeah. Then nothing to worry about there. Yanni Hernandez, Andy Ibanez, will end with them in Texas. Does the movement of IKF and the injury to Josh Young create a path for either of them that interests you? Andy Ibanez, 29-year-old, Yanni Hernandez, 24-year-old.
Yanni Hernandez is kind of interesting.
As a speed play?
Yeah, as a speed play. They're giving him an opportunity to win the third base job. With Josh Young likely done for the season, unless they bring
he is done.
Yeah. I mean, there's a chance he could be back by the end of the season, but I mean, I think he's got a real opportunity here, unless Texas brings someone else in, which they could do. Considering
they have had some talks.
They have been in on like everybody. And good for them. Good for Texas. Like,
no, I like it.
Not
They're pushing.
Being like other teams in Major League Baseball that get a new stadium and then like, oh no, we can't afford anything. Like we paid for your stadium. Go get players, Pittsburgh and Miami.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Texas is not doing that. So, yeah, I think he's kind of an interesting late, draft kind of guy.
Yeah, I could definitely see it with Yanni Hernandez. Andy Ibanez, 29, hit for a little power last year. I don't really see too much there.
Yeah.
Did make a lot of contact with it. Would be AL only if he ended up getting the job.
Mhm.
And that's it on third base, man. I really don't have anything else. If there's anybody I missed that you really wanted to give a mention to,
No, I
feel
hate this
free
position.
to. Yeah, it's brutal, man. I mean, guys like Tyler Wade, we already talked about. Wilmer Flores, guys on other multi-eligible. If we didn't catch them here, they're definitely on another pod being discussed for sure. But we damn near went 2 hours because we talked a lot about moves. We had some fun tangents. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed it. We'll be back later this week talking more moves, hopefully more trades as well. Justin, so great to have baseball back, man. I'll talk to you again in a few days.
Take it easy.